So, Dr. Maral, thank you so much for doing this. Welcome to Spoked Out. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have you on the podcast.
That's my pleasure. Thank you so much. But I got into understanding that Iranian women are not riding motorbike right when I started the world ride. Because I started getting messages from Iranian women who were calling me lucky. How lucky you are. And then I was like, why are you saying that? And then they were like, we cannot ride. I said, yeah, but then I started kicking in. Oh, they can't ride. Really, really thinking that I'm risking I was pregnant 6 months and a week when I was in Iran.
Oh my God.
For getting a license for women, the most important thing is this supreme leader or the moral police think women going to be on a bike with all these tight clothes. They look kind of hot and sexy, and they're going to get attention of the guy and going to be a chaos and going to be against Islam. We talk about gender equality, then let's be equal.
Mm-hmm.
In gender equality, you don't wear those beautiful half-open clothes, sit on a motorbike.
Yeah.
What if the man does the same?
Yeah.
We got a little ahead. The guy stopped right middle of the tiny road, which there is no right, no left, no nothing. I mean, you could go ahead, but there is nothing. And then he comes down and he said, "Mi casa." I said, where the hell is your casa?
Yeah, where's your casa?
I look at it in the mirror. I saw 6 guys coming towards my bike with knife.
No way.
And they had this huge knife. Another guy comes and said, "You follow me." He was from the moral police.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, the story starts.
Today's guest of mine is somebody from a country where women riding motorcycles is absolutely not allowed. They're not even given licenses. And here I have her doing a campaign across a world ride, trying to change this perception, trying to change this norm. She's somebody who's ridden over 7 continents, 113 countries. She's won a few dozen awards, and she's on the list of BBC's top 100 influential and most powerful women of the world. Before she embarked on this enormous journey, she was in the heart of a big corporate culture, working as a vice president. She's done her PhD in marketing, and if that's not enough, since 2010, she's running her own fashion label, a very successful fashion label, and has showcased everywhere, including London, Paris, Milan, Rome, and Dubai Fashion Weeks. If you go to her Instagram page, it reads, and I'm reading from it, an achiever, not an influencer. I would say she's an overachiever, and there's a good chance this could be my last episode because I don't think I'll get anybody more interesting than this on the show. So, Dr. Maral, thank you so much for doing this. Welcome to Spoked Out. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have you on the podcast.
That's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, I was, of course, I've known of you since a very long time. And when I recently was very keen on having you on the podcast, I went through some of your social media handles. And having done 7 continents, 113 countries, having won 40 plus awards, and of course, I'm not even beginning to describe all the credentials and accolades that you have. There's an error in your Instagram.
Yeah.
It reads an achiever. It needs to be an overachiever.
Thank you. I wanted you to just read the next one very carefully.
Not an influencer. I think in today's day, that's a very important part where everybody's trying to influence.
Yeah.
You do not want to influence and you want to just carve your own niche for yourself.
I wanted to be an example more than influencing anyone.
Right.
Because I think that people need to find their own path. They don't need to be influenced by me. And I always say, everybody laugh. I said, I can't even influence my own husband. How can I influence anybody else?
But that's a tough one anyways.
Mine is the okay one, but I can influence.
All right.
And then I think that I rather be an example that it is possible for the people and they can achieve whatever they want, rather just trying to be an influencer.
Of course. So before I start with the story of 7 continents, 113 countries, and all the awesome things that you've done, on your motorcycle and off it, can I just take you back to how it started for you? How did motorcycles enter your life?
I'm coming from a country
Exactly.
which women are not allowed to ride a motorbike. And I never seen motorbike growing up. Plus, in Iran, anything above 200cc is not allowed. And I never had anything about bike in my head because the bike majorly used to be only delivery, pizza delivery. And I didn't build that fancy thing about motorbike. I came to India for studying. I've done my MBA and PhD here. And when finished, I started working as a management trainee. And one of these days, I was in Bombay. I had a meeting with the LV team, came from Paris, and we had to meet them for one of our projects. Really bad meeting. And then we're coming back, and I was in the car, and I was discussing with my colleague, and I was saying, like, what? And then I suddenly saw Harley Davidson showroom in Bandra in Bombay. And before that, also, I received the email that Harley Davidson entered India, and the bike were quite fancy and metal. It really eye-catching. I stopped the car, went inside, and looked at the bike. I was like, I want this. And then I was telling my friend, my colleague also, like, you pick up one also. He's like, I'm not a biker. I said, well, look good. Pick up. We'll see. We'll figure this out.
Right.
And then the guy who was there in the Bombay showroom said they don't have it for test ride. And I said, I didn't ask for a test ride. I'm not a rider. I just know I want that bike.
Here's the cash, I'm buying it.
And they didn't know I understand Hindi. They told each other, look at this ladki. She thinks she's buying a lollipop. And she's saying, I don't want pink. I don't want yellow. I want orange.
Oh,
they make fun of me of that. That was how I got to biking.
All right.
I picked up the bike, and my first owned bike was the Harley Davidson 1200cc 48.
Mm-hmm.
I started with that.
It's a very good looking bike.
Beautiful. I look at the bike and I could not get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at it because you had to only pay 20,000 to book it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I pay the 20,000 and then I have time to think about it, what I've done. If I don't want it, doesn't matter. I mean, it's loss of 20,000 or I give it back. But at least the bike is a really good looking bike. But I knew how to ride a bike because when I was in the college, I was waiting for my friend to come and he had this old Bullet. Mm-hmm. And I was using that Bullet as a bench, just resting. And my friend comes and told me, like, get off my bike. I said, why? He said, because you never ridden any bike in your life. I said, who said I'm riding? I'm just sitting. But the tone of his voice really hurt my ego.
Oh my God.
And then I was just like, teach me how this one ride. And then he was like, you have to kick it and do it. And then for me to just prove him wrong, because I hate to be dragged down for something I cannot do. And then I sat on a bike and then he told me, do this is a clutch, and I always been a good driver. I rode it for 100 meters, 200 meters, 1 kilometer. I loved it.
All right.
And then anytime we wanted to go out, I was telling him, can I ride your bike? That was the experience that I had. Just maybe take the bike from Koregan Park, go to Wadia College, or maybe go for like just some shopping to do it and come back. That was 21 years ago. And then when I was 29, which was like, you do the calculation. And at that time, there was one that I bought the Harley, which I think was like 15 years ago. Then I bought the Harley. And we were the first lot who bought that bike. And my first ride was Bombay to Pune, which I felt I conquered the world. Mm-hmm. Like, I sat on my motorbike. In Lonavala, I stopped. I called the hotel and I booked myself a massage because each and every muscle was hurting. And then I thought that I've done a thing, like the biggest thing. I park my bike, I get down, I walk with the attitude, and I would tell everybody, I just came back from Bombay, That was the first ride, and that was how I got to biking. After that, there was no coming back.
No coming back. And, I just came back from Mumbai.
Oh, yeah, that attitude.
Yeah. And then you're pushing the envelope and you're pushing the destinations further and further. And you've circled the whole world now. Yeah. So what does that feel like?
I cherish each and every feeling from that moment that I saw my Harley and said I want it, to my biggest achievement, which I can say I traveled 64 countries in one trip. The feeling is different because it's not only about motorbike, about crossing very difficult terrain or challenges that I cannot even begin to tell you how it was. It's a feeling and the confidence of I can. That's which is very, rewarding. And is very important, and they give you the different level of confidence, because when you push the limit and when there is something that you touch, when the people say you can't, when the people say is impossible, when the people say, come on. And this is beyond people understanding. And when you do that, it just, nothing can compete with that. Because like I've done my MBA and PhD. Then I was leading a very good position in corporate.
Did you study here?
I studied here, University of Pune. Graduated, my
right.
PhD is from University of Pune.
Okay.
And then I work in a company, in the corporate for 12 years. And then I run my own business. These are all having different hype and different kind of high to it. Then I start traveling, backpacking. I've done 67 countries before I go for the world ride. And you know, all this, but the feeling of you can, and there is a problem, you will find a way for it, and there is a solution to it. It's a different level of confidence. And that entire 113 countries that you mentioned, and the 7 continents that I always say 7 continents I travel to, because I wrote only on 6 continents.
I see. As in from one continent to the other continent?
No. 6 continents I rode. The 7th continent is Antarctica.
Oh yeah, of course.
Antarctica has a very strict rule to not get any engine there.
Oh, I see.
Because of the nature, because of all the animals who are there. And then the countries who are having different island there and different base there and then taking care of it are extremely against us, because we as biker, we think world belong to us. But then you come narrow it down, you're like, oh, we are 3% of the world, not even 5 or 10.
Right.
And then the ego of going to all the 7 continents, get my motorbike, touch the Antarctica, what was driving me. And I reached Ushuaia, which called end of the world, this most southern part of Argentina, which is the most southern part of the world. And that's the best way of getting to Antarctica. I reached there, and the boat who's supposed to come and take me and my motorbike didn't show up. A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks delay on my trip, and I was getting really restless. And every day I would go to the harbor, wait over there for the boat to come and beg them if they can take me and my motorbike to Antarctica, because I didn't want to go with the commercial one, because commercial one cannot take my bike. It's a lot of paperwork to do, and usually they don't, because the license can get canceled. And I paid those guys who were supposed to take me in advance, but they never showed up. Then one of those days I was standing there, a gentleman had a small fishing boat and was parked there. And then he came, I asked him, are you going to Antarctica? He said, I love to, but no, I'm not. And I said, where are you coming from? He said, I'm doing the world on a boat. I said, how? He said, I'm crossing all the ocean. I'm doing complete round of the world. And he told me, what are you doing here? I said, I'm doing the world on a road.
Wow.
And then he was like, how you cross border? I said, that's my question to you. Because on the land, borders are clear. On the ocean, there is no border. He told me this call for a drink. Do you want to have a glass of wine? I said, sure. When I had a conversation with that gentleman, he said, then I told him I want to take my bike. And then he said, why? I said, because I said I want to go to 7 continents. He said, I'm not a biker. I don't understand a biker. I heard you guys think you and your motorbike cannot be separated, but you are still going to Antarctica. I said, no, I want my bike. He said, for what? I mean, I'm not going to disrespect you. I know your bike definitely has a name. I said, of course she has. And I said, I know that she has feeling. I'm not going to question that. Why you want to take your bike? You know, Antarctica does not have the crazy road to ride. You already been through all this continent. You already came down from Ecuador, black ice, everything. Antarctica not going to be a challenge. Is you're massaging your ego. Then I had a long conversation with Alex, also my husband, and he's not a biker. He told me the same thing. That was the time I came to understanding Antarctica is not a challenge for biking. Antarctica is massaging my ego, and maybe that's the time. Then I start giving this request to all the biker of the world, please not remain Antarctica. Because being in India, I knew how to tip off, spend some little bit of money, get the permission, Chelega, get the bike there, do that, put my bike down, click one photo, ride it for 100 meters and said, I've ridden in Antarctica. But that was the time of my trip that I didn't need to ride in Antarctica, and I actually had to break my ego.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. I did not ride in 7 continents.
All right.
I traveled to 7
Okay,
continents.
now it makes sense.
And I rode across 6 continents.
But that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
But again, now circling back a couple of steps. So when you first got your motorcycle and when you rode and you booked your motorcycle, was that like a rebellious streak to it? Especially because you come from a place where probably it's, it's programmed into you that, women can't drive, they can't ride. So was that a sign of being a rebel? Did that play any part?
I wish I could say yes to that, but no.
Okay.
That was just an impulse decision. Because for me I saw the bike, I liked the bike, and I was like, oh, okay, that's so cool. And I just liked it and I bought it. Like, I was 29. And I feel that 29, anyone still is like so bubbly and so this. And I didn't have a maturity that I have now to think about everything twice. For me, it was just a decision and I liked it. And when I start riding it, it matches my level of craziness. Because my middle name is crazy. Now I don't even question anyone who called me crazy. I'm very comfortable with it. And then being that crazy, I needed something to match my level of energy.
Of course.
Like get up 5 o'clock in the morning, sit on a motorbike, put my helmet on, enjoy it, get to the fight on the road, and bike gave me that.
Of course.
That feeling up. And another most important thing was, all of us, when we get to biking, we use it as a quick runaway to a peaceful place. Not the location, in our head.
In your heads.
When you put your helmet on, that's my dream world that I create for myself. My mind, I go back and then come back to the present, and then I plan my future. And this all happened in 1,000 kilometers. And you feel it because you are a biker yourself.
You're talking my language, because for me, that's meditation.
It's meditation. I can't see like that, close my eyes, but I can put my helmet and that works wonder for me. This feeling that the biking gave it to me, it got me drawn deeper and deeper. That's how it become, I was waiting for a weekend that I can sit on a bike. I used to do like Pune, Bangalore, Bangalore, Pune. And everybody was like, what are you doing in Bangalore? I said, you're missing the point. There is not Bangalore. This is the road that I go to.
Exactly. The destination doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
I would sit and ride, and that 650 kilometers and that helmet and that feeling that I would get was there.
Exactly.
I didn't want it to be a rebel. But then we had this episode on the road that nobody could believe is a girl riding a bike when I would removing the helmet. I'm not lying. It will be a lie if I say I didn't enjoy. Of course I did. Which I was removing the helmet, and then the people were shocked, and I was like, yeah. That was initially there as well. But I got into understanding that Iranian women are not riding motorbike right when I started the world ride. Because I started getting messages from Iranian women who were calling me lucky. How lucky you are that you can ride a bike. And then I was like, why are you saying that? And then they were like, we cannot ride. I said, yeah. But then I started kicking in. Oh, they can ride. The simplest pleasure of sitting on a motorbike and ride, they can do it. And that's how I started running a campaign for Iranian women. And along the way, when I was getting more messages, I promised them. I promised Iranian women, after riding across all the 7 continents and as many countries I could, I will enter Iran officially and openly, because they are women who ride in Iran. The thing is, I lived in India for 21 years. I had a freedom of choosing my bike, and I'm sitting in your hot seat and acting like a heroine.
You are every bit the heroine that you're acting it out.
But in Iran, they are women. They are amazing girls who ride motorbike. They were fully geared, which they cannot recognize as a boy or girl. We have girls who get the bike with tension of, if the police stop them and ask them to remove the helmet, they will be arrested. The bike will be in the police station, and it is very hard for them to take it back. I think they are doing a hard job by doing it. I promise them when I do that, I enter Iran openly and officially. Because you can be Iranian woman with Iranian passport, go with a guy, cross the border with him, then after 5 minutes sit on a bike and ride. I said I will not do that. And I was solo anyways.
Of course.
I'll go there, I remove my helmet, I speak the language, I tell them I am Iranian and I am entering the country, and I give all the lecture for different state in the different platform. I send a request to the government of Iran and I said, after crossing 7 continents, 64 countries, I'm standing here and I'm like, look at me. This is not against any religion, not against any rule of the country. I'm geared head to toe. I mean, if I didn't remove my helmet, you didn't even know that you didn't even know that I'm a girl.
Yeah.
And I was challenging them to show them. And all of those places that I went and I give the speech, I was fully geared with the biking thing because I was standing there and I was telling everybody, look at me. This is how a woman will be on a motorbike, which is against no rule, no religion, no nothing. Was very risky though, because before I entered Iran, I was getting so many messages, do not do that, they will throw acid on you, do not do that, you will be in a jail, nobody can bring you out. And one thing that the people didn't know was, which I was really, really thinking that I'm risking, was I was pregnant 6 months and a week when I was entering Iran.
Oh my God.
The only thing I was praying was like, I would not be arrested, because I have right in my life, but now I have a partner.
You're responsible.
Who responsible for, and I have a baby who is I responsible for. But I'm glad that the story was all nice and shining and nothing happened there. And then they received me so well.
Yeah, and they were also forgetting that your middle name is crazy.
Yeah. Very crazy.
Very crazy, yeah.
No, but at the border, the guy started speaking English to me and they said, what's your name? And then I respond back and I said, Maral. And they were like, where are you from? And I said, in Farsi, I said, passportam shoma mitunin bebinin, which means you can look at my passport and it's Iranian. And he still said, where you learn to speak Farsi? I said, I am Iranian. And he was like, where is your group? I said, I don't have any group. And he was like, you're on a bike. I said, I am on a bike. He
thought
said,
there's something fishy.
Yeah, he was like, where are you coming from? I said, if you let me in, I can tell you that's my 64th country. He said, what? I said, I just crossed 63 countries. You can't believe it. The guy stood up. In Iran, they cannot shake hand because what they call them, namahram, which means if you're not from the same blood, you can't touch each other. Or something like that. Right. I forgot because 21 years ago.
you just might exchange blood unknowingly.
unknowingly touching each other. Yeah, the guy was just like, respect. He said, I'm so happy that is my shift to be here now to see you and welcome you to Iran. But by the time that he was just saying it, I was like, done. Another guy comes and said, you follow me. He was from the Maral police. And I was like, okay, the story starts. When I was talking to that guy, I had my helmet in my hand. He didn't talk to me first. He grabbed my helmet. He snatched the GoPro out of it. And he told me, are you recording? I said, no. He said, are you coming in or you're going out? I said, I'm in the queue to get in. He was like, you follow me. 2.5 hours, questions and questions and questions and where am I coming from? Why I'm coming? What is my agenda? What I'm doing in this? I didn't mention that my husband is British because, come on, as soon as I say my husband is British, so it's just like, accept that she's a spy. There is no other thing. And they look at my passport. Oh, you've been in so many countries? I didn't say I'm pregnant with a baby. And then I sounded like very cool Iranian. I have all the documents in place. I have a carnet of my bike. I have everything that you allow me in. They ask my route. They ask where I'm going to be, where is my family. They check to see if there is any background and my family are not into politics. Neither I am. I don't even understand politics. And I think the guy just figured this out that like she's far from all these topics. I don't understand politics to even be one of them. Then he looked at me and said, you can go in. After 3 hours, I said, thank you, sir. And then I got in. A couple of times they stopped me on the road, but people were amazing. They would come to me, and then when I speak the language with them, they were like, oh my God, you're Iranian. They start calling me Hope, because they said if you can see a woman on a motorbike crossing the world, coming to Iran, they let them in. That's hope. And I had a great time in Iran. I've been awarded with different, the trophies. They gave me gold coins. And I'm like, can I do more? I can give you another speech.
Oh my God.
I was very well received. And
so
then
overwhelming.
I was surprised. I remember 2 kilometers before I crossed the border, my mom flew to Iran. From Tehran, she drove her car, came to the border, and she said, I'm here if anything happened. But then she got into the call to me and said, Maral, when you left for a world ride, you didn't have a husband. Come on, you didn't have a baby in your belly. You are 2 kilometers away from Iran, and anything can happen. She pulled any contact she had, but everybody said what she's doing is against the law. We can't guarantee. We don't know what's going to happen. She said, I don't have any answer for you. There is a possibility you reach at the border, you come in. There is a possibility you reach at the border, they arrest you. And they don't let you in. The best scenario is they send you back. But if they don't send you back, they wanted to know what exactly you're doing, because you're running a campaign telling everyone the law need to be changed. If they put you in the wrong category, you had it. You have a chance to go back right now to Istanbul and fly back from there to India. I said, I will not do it. I promised my women. And I think if there is a movement need to start, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But I record myself a video to show myself later how stressful it was. And I said, it's a very mixed and confused feeling because I have to be more than happy. It's my last country. I've done it. And I'm entering my place of birth. But then instead of being happy for it, I'm very tense that what's going to happen to me.
Of course, you were scared for your life.
I was scared for my life.
While I'm listening to this, I'm so much wrapped in attention, and my pulse is going up. So I can imagine,
My mother-in-law mentioned it recently, that how tense Alex was. But that's why I respect the guy to another level. He never ever told me to stop. I spoke to him right before entering the border, and I said, listen, your wife and your baby gonna get in, and I'm hoping to give you a call in 1 hour, and said everything is okay, but there are chances. And then he was like, no, you will be fine, everything gonna be great, my baby gonna do it, I'm waiting for your call. But then recently I heard how stressed he was, which he called, and I spoke to my mother-in-law and said, she's crossing the border now. But it's just like, but all the stories work at my favor. Was perfect. All the local newspaper covered the story. All of them said, Maral, after crossing 7 continents and 64 countries, requesting the government to change. And now they are moving it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Has there been any change after your campaign?
I can tell it's because of my campaign. Because
but it's a catalyst. It's a big catalyst.
I mean, for sure. But I can't be sitting here and said, it's my effort. No. I think many girls in Iran also who were riding on a road, who posting about it, who telling them, I think it's a group work. Mine was just an example to run this campaign. Maybe many don't even didn't know about this campaign.
To give them strength, like, she's our kind and she's doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. And there are many girls in Iran also doing it. And there are many guys in Iran who are bikers who are supporting it. I think it's everyone's voice. Not solely my voice to stand here and say, I'm changing. I don't have that power. But I definitely played a role in my shoes as much as I could to pass on this and be an example, which is possible. If Iranian woman can do that, any other woman in Iran can do it too. And there is movement now. They're saying that they gonna pass the law.
Okay.
There is no law. The problem is not there is a law against it. There is no law. They are saying the supreme leader said there is no law about women being on a bike, then we cannot give the license to women. Now we're trying to push. They said, please then put the law. Because women can see it as a pillion. I cannot see it as a rider. What it is? The handlebar is a problem?
It's bizarre. It's as bizarre as it
I mean,
can
I
be.
can digest it. If a woman can sit in a bike as a pillion, the only thing we're touching is a handlebar.
Handlebar. I know. Is it the handlebar?
What is the problem
I
there?
know.
Yeah.
Actually, you have a point over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
Even if I want to wrap my head around it, I would probably think that it's probably not like a law that is written, but it's probably a law that is enforced by these moral police.
Yes, correct.
You know,
it's more than a moral police. Yeah, it's a moral police because we have police and we have moral police. The moral police, I think they feel the women gonna get a lot of attention, which that is another thing. Like in Iran, I was trying to tell these women, I was saying, I understand freedom is your right, but please do it in the right way. Because if you're wearing a tight, skinny leather pants, I am with you. As women, you can have all the right how you dress up, how you do it. But when we are fighting for getting a license for women, the most important thing is this supreme leader or the moral police think women going to be on a bike with all these tight clothes. They look kind of hot and sexy, and they're going to get attention of the guy and going to be a chaos and going to be against Islam. Don't give that to them. Don't give that picture to them. You are on a motorbike, please be fully geared. Wear your helmet, be head to toe fully geared. Let's get our license first. Then you do whatever you want.
Got it.
But let's just get that license for riding a motorbike first. I mean, in general, against riding a motorbike without gears.
Of course, yeah.
That's the base. If someone comes to me and say they are a biker and then they ride their motorbike without the gear, unfortunately, I really, their level of being, it would just drop for me to the ground because they say this is their life. But more than that, they're going to ruin somebody else's life if anything happened to them.
Correct.
That's a base for me.
Yeah. And somewhere, it also tarnishes the whole community that, you being a rider, you're sending a message out there where it is okay to not, care for your own safety.
Yeah. Any photo of me go to social media, if I don't have a helmet on my head, there is a disclaimer which says, this bike is not moving and I am only clicking a photo in a stationary bike.
That is so amazing.
You do not see me riding a bike without a helmet at all. And for me, just like is the message you're giving to people. Younger one, the 18 years old, want to have a long hair clicking photo, be on a stationary bike. Because I get a lot of this forward, which women doing fantastic job. But as soon as they send me content, which a woman is with the beautiful clothes and half open and with the long hair, I'm like, please don't do that. I don't support this.
Yeah.
You look amazing. Please be off the bike and do what you want. Helmet, fully geared. Do not do that.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate it at all.
If you want to be alive and still look this good, wear a helmet.
Exactly. You want to impress them, please do off the bike.
Exactly.
Impress them with how you ride on a motorcycle, not how you look. And I'm a big, the talker when it comes to gender equality. And it's interesting because people think I have to stand with women when we talk about gender equality. But I'm actually telling women, let's get it real. We talk about gender equality, then let's be equal. In gender equality, you don't wear those beautiful half-open clothes, sit on a motorbike. What if the man does the same? What is? Gender equality doesn't come when it's in our benefit.
Correct. You can't be selective about it.
You can be selective. Gender equality means you work, you take off 50% of the life. Gender equality means don't expect the man to stand over there to open the door for you, which I wanted myself because I like the respect. But if you want to be gender equal, then go to the bottom of it.
Exactly.
When is a bill on the table, let's just share 50-50. When is about riding a motorbike, please don't be with a sport bra. Just wear your gears. But it's that level also, right? It's a gender equality.
Exactly. It has to be followed at every step of the way.
Every step.
Yeah, you can't be selective. That's correct.
Let's not be feminist or gender equality. Let's go back to biking.
Yeah. Over the past 4.5 months, I've tried my best to bring you a variety of content and a variety of guests. I hope you're enjoying how it's going. And if you want me to call a specific guest or if you want a podcast to be on a specific topic, do drop a comment and let me know what you would like to listen about. One more good news is that we are going to be audio only, and we're going to be on Spotify from this episodes. I'm also going to take all the previous episodes on Spotify. So if you're kicked about this endeavor, if you think that we should be on Spotify, just drop a comment below and mention Spotify. So you entering Iran and having the experiences that you did, well, of course, the adrenaline was at a different level.
Yeah.
And, you went through what you went through. Were there any other scary parts?
In the world or in Iran?
In the world, which probably compares this experience. I've got all the time. I've got all the time. Maybe your top 3, because I don't think you will have that much time.
Yeah, because, when I get to the world ride, the ride that we've done, each day divide to so many stories. And so many of those minutes, like I can just count top 3 for you, which that was the closest to the heart attack.
Okay, top 5.
Now getting more interesting.
yeah, exactly.
I had moments which it was like, okay, is the last breath, is the last moment of my life. Who should I call and say bye first? Should I message Alex and say, I love you so much, but sorry for this and it's finished? Do I have that much time to send that message?
Okay.
And when this moment passes, that everything you're still trying, and you can't believe the happiness after that moment. And the only reason you need to be happy because you're alive. Nothing else. Nothing else. You are alive. The only reason that you're going to be happy. Okay, the scariest moment, all of them are equally scary for me. I tell you top 3 or top 5. One of them was in Mexico. We were riding to reach to Guatemala border. And we stopped in a petrol pump. And then there was a couple on a BMW stopped next to us. And with their Spanish, my English, and then I tried to speak Spanish, which is 2 words only, and then they tried to speak English, which is 3 words. And
¿Cómo está?
Yeah, ¿cómo está? And then exactly, mi casa, whatever. And then I understood this couple invited me to go to their house, and understood that their house is very close to Guatemala border, and they said you can come, you can stay. And we said, okay. Pankaj was there with me. Pankaj was the bride's friend who's a photographer and a documentary maker. We said, we go, no problem. We promised ourselves we don't want to ride at night, but that promise we never kept. Never kept. And that by end of my ride was a joke because I end up being every night on the road. Then we follow these guys. Because you follow someone, you don't check the routes. You totally trust the guy, you follow the guy.
Yeah, you're blindly following.
It becomes 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, dark, been on the road for 9 hours and we're still following this guy. And then we reached somewhere and I was just like, where the hell we are? And then there was like a very funny toll because we weren't on a highway anymore. We were on a road which had no clue because no lights, no signage, no nothing. And then we reached such a toll, which they wouldn't look like a tall guy. There were some guys with covering all their faces at 11 o'clock at night, only the eyes is out. And these guys said something, tell them to Spanish, and they said like this, and we were just like, where the hell are we going? My heartbeat started, and I just telling myself, it's okay. Don't prejudge. Switch down your mind. It's okay. But it's exactly match the scary movie I saw in the episode with some mafia in Mexico. And then I was just like, it's okay. Breathe. We got a little ahead. The guy stopped right middle of the tiny road, which there is no right, no left, no nothing. You could go ahead, but there is nothing. And then he comes down and he said, mi casa. I said, where the hell is your casa?
Yeah, where's your casa?
There was no road. And then I look at it in the mirror. I saw 6 guys coming towards my bike with knife.
No way.
And they had this huge knife.
Machetes.
Yes. And I can't tell you the level of the scare. Because you're a girl, if they kill you is the best scenario, anything can happen to you. And then there are 6 guys, and I was just trying to find the wife of this guy. And the wife disappeared. There is no bloody wife. I'm like, where the hell? I'm like, your wife. And they said she gone to casa. I said, where the hell is your casa? I can't see any casa. And then he was saying, you have to go right. I'm like, the divider. And then he was like, these guys are my guy. They will lift your bike. I said, they lift my bike where? Oh. This 6 guy came. I thought it's finished. I got my phone out to send the location to my, there was a group with my mom, 2 brothers, my husband, to send the location. That at least they know where was the last location.
Exactly.
No signal. Absolutely no signal. And that was the time that I said like, okay, God, thank you. That was an experience living in this world. Taken, finish. I said, just make it easy. Make it easy without pain. These 6 guys come, 3 this side, 3 this side. They lifted my GS, put it the other side of the divider. And this guy moved his bike also. And then I'm going through the trees and the grasses were this long. And they just like, there was no even root, nothing. We reached the old door. They opened the door. I said, yeah, they're going to first chop me in pieces. They're going to get all my organs. And then they want to do whatever that it is. We got in. 2 huge dogs start running. I said, okay, maybe they're going to feed my remains to the dogs. But these dogs were huge, was the size of my GS. The first sign was the dogs were so friendly. I said, okay, the dog came, okay, this is okay. But I think I would collapse in that moment. They took me in. There was a house with nothing inside. Only 2 plastic chairs was there. And I was keep telling them, casa? What kind of casa is this?
That was a torture room.
That was a torture room. Everything matched the high level of a scary movie you see. I thought it's finished. My life is finished. Now maybe it's the last night. I mean, how much you can. And you know when you're so scared and you're so tense and adrenaline going higher, you reach the point you don't care anymore.
Exactly. You just give in to the situation.
You give it. Exactly. And then you're like, you can. You're a dead person. This is another last 15 minutes you have. Till the brother of the guy entered the house. And then the guy comes and says, hello, how are you? And I'm like, you can speak English with my last little energy left? And then the guy said, yes. I said, where the hell am I? The guy was like, you're in my brother's house. I said, this is not a house. They said, okay, the language was a problem. This guy used to work in US. That's the reason he could speak English. And then he said, no, this is their holiday home. And I said, okay. And then I'm like, why there is nothing here? He said, because they came back after 8-9 months. They want to set up the house now. I said, who the hell are these 6 guys with the knife? He said, the knife is a tradition here. Everybody carry it. I said, like, who the hell are these guys? They said, you know what? In the sunlight, you will see. We are in a coffee plantation. These guys are the worker of the farm. My brother has this coffee plantation and these guys are the one who working there. I said, why the hell there is no signal? I said, because we are on a hill and you don't get it. And that's the reason my brother kids never come here because there is no signal. I said, they have kids also.
That's a relief.
That was the relief. I said, they don't want to kill me or get my organs. The guy was laughing. I said, no. And I'm like, am I safe here? But the moment you go through all that, I was as good as dead.
Of course.
Because after that also they told me I'm alive. It took me 3 days to believe I'm alive.
Exactly. And you know, the first word of English that would have come out of his mouth, I think that itself must have put you in a safe place. Like, at least I'll know what's going to happen to me.
I was thinking and laughing and I'm like, imagine if I got so scared and that I couldn't even run away because I'm like, where the hell am I going? I don't even know which route I am in.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock at night. And imagine I go and these 6 guys follow me and capture me again. And I was thinking, imagine I got so scared and I ran away. What these guys would think.
Exactly.
Loco. She comes till here.
yeah.
Suddenly she took off.
I know. And even if you do manage to get a new GS and run away,
Yeah.
there's a divider over there.
Exactly. Where to go?
Yeah.
No, but that was really scary.
I
That
know, I
was
can
just our
imagine.
closest to being
That's like a movie plot.
yeah.
Nothing short of a movie
No,
plot.
it just was so scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still when I talk about it, because when I'm somewhere here, it's at night, it's scary. And I said, come on, guys, you don't know what I've been through life. This is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The second episode can be, which actually is a startup of my book. I wrote a book, which I'm still editing. It's going to be finished soon. And that's the startup of my book. I was in Africa and I don't read.
Sorry, is that book about your whole journey?
It's called Bump on the Road, which is bump.
Oh, okay.
And the name came from Alex. Alex is very witty. And then
Alright.
he said bump on the road. And I said, that's so cool. And is a very mixed thing. As of now, it's a coffee table book.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm going to publish it as a book, I think I'm going to divide it. Because one part is memoir, which is an interesting story because Iranian girl, how the hell she reached to India, then went around the world on a motorbike. This is just a lot of interesting stuff that you even ask someone to write, the movie, the script. They can't even put these dots next to each other.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the thing that's going to be the combination of everything from who Maral was, where she was born, and the journey of my life till the time what I've done and the current scenario. And when I was I don't have a habit of reading about where am I going. Like I don't read books or Google search to find out where to stay, what to do, because I have one opinion, which is my opinion. Most of the time doesn't work at my favor. I am under that belief that I want my experience be first-handed.
Exactly.
I don't want to read which one of those beautiful influencer went to that location and put it online with, I wasn't happy with that location because of so-and-so thing, or this location is amazing because of so-and-so thing.
Yeah, and I think somewhere you seek that same experience, and I think you forget that you're a different person and you could have a better experience than that.
Or you can have your own experience.
Yeah, own experience.
Yes, because it can be better, can be worse, but it's my experience.
Exactly.
That's the reason I don't read. I don't go to any of these books or have it, because I saw people traveling with the book and they read it and they I Google where I should not miss when I'm in this town or road, because I don't know it all, right? And I cannot just count on I'm gonna reach to the point that but I checked, these are the point, like for example, if it's any historical place that I have to go, I Google search that. But I don't Google search from this point to that point of where to go. Like if I want to go from like Bombay to Bangalore.
Any suggestions?
You got my point.
I got your point.
I don't get there and do that. But the negative side of it is you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's absolute unknown.
Yeah. But that's the best part. That's what I travel for.
Me too.
Yeah.
My travel is travel to unknown. I can travel from here. Everybody makes joke of me because I said I can write a book about Pune to Bombay 1,600 ways. Because there is not a single time for last 15 years I didn't get lost going to Bombay. No. And I found different routes to it. But
you made it.
I made it. I make it. The finish line I always reach.
Eventually.
Which route I take?
Correct.
God knows. Yeah. I don't know also myself. In Africa, I was riding and I was in Botswana. Police stopped me because I was overtaking a car, which I was not supposed to. But when he stopped me, I said, you were overtaking. I said, I was still this side of the line. He was like, but you were overtaking. I said, the driver told me to go. I said, yeah, but against the law, you couldn't go. I was arguing with the police guy over there for 15 minutes that I was this side of the line, not that side of the line. Technically, I didn't overtake. And the guy asked me if I'm a lawyer. I said, no. He said, but you should try. Because you have talents there. I said, I'm a marketing person, a fashion designer. He said, no, try being a lawyer. You're quite good. And the guy said, you have to pay $50. I said, oh. He said, fine. I said, listen, the entire world, nobody no police made me pay fine. Do you want to be the first one? He said, I don't mind. I said, how many women you saw that cross in your life, traveling all the world and coming? He said, every day one. I said, you joking? He said, yeah, you're the first one. I said, I have no problem of paying you $50, but you take me to your family, feed me today, pay for my petrol for another 2 days, and you make me sleep in your house because that's a budget I have for another 2-3 days.
You are a marketing person.
Oh, I am a marketing. And I was very good at my job. Yeah. By end of it, the police said, okay, you can leave. And we had a nice laugh. He asked me, where you going? I said, I'm going to Nata. And then he said, now? I said, yeah. He said, you have 200 kilometers to go. I said, I know. I said, the weather he said, gonna be dark. I said, yeah, I've been enough riding at night. The only thing he missed was he didn't tell me where am I going. Me also being that super crazy and said, I can go, I can find, because I had to find a place to put the tent up. I started, and it was a beautiful sunset. Like Africa has one of the best sunsets. And then I was trying to find the places to put my tent. I didn't find any places. And I went further. Crazy rain started. I said, I ride in India. Doesn't matter what crazy rain can do to me. I increased the volume of my music, which I'm not recommending to any biker to do. This is one of my guilty pleasure. I ride with the music. I increased it. I started singing and I go, but crazy rain covered all the potholes.
Okay.
You couldn't see potholes anymore. And the road was like as good as the moon surface. We used to get it in India a lot. I hit one of the potholes in a wrong angle. And I heard the bike said, psst, and I was like,
and it was dark, almost dark.
No,
not yet.
Pitch dark.
Pitch dark.
I couldn't see anything I could see. I was riding with my senses, not with my light and nothing. Right. And then I said, and I used all my skills, everything that I gathered to not fall, because I was pregnant. Any fall would cause my baby's life. And I tried to manage. If I can imagine my front wheel gone. And I'm on my bike, very heavy back, because all my luggages are in the back. Panniers is in the back.
And it's a long trip.
And I managed to not fall. And as soon as I stopped the bike, I was like, and I use all the gods, all Indian gods, all Iranian gods, any gods in South America, any god, I was just calling him. I said, listen, you have to be at the job right now.
Exactly.
The only problem was when my bike stopped, the light went to the board, which said, do not stop, wild animal zone.
Oh.
And now I'm like, all right. I mean, when you don't have the information, life is a blessing.
Exactly. Ignorance is bliss.
And I'm just like, why the hell I have to read this right now?
Yeah.
My bike doesn't have a front wheel, no air in it. And now and then I lost count how much it bit my lips. But I remember when I reached the place, I had my lips was completely gone, because I said I have no choice of stopping. Because when in Africa they said wild animal zone, does not mean a stray dog gonna pass by.
Of course,
it's
not
lion,
in Africa.
It's tiger, it's anything. And I started riding. My Google shows I used Maps.me. My Maps.me showed the first stop that I'm gonna get is 60 kilometers away. And 60 kilometers away with no front wheel, I figured about the muscle that I never knew I have. Like in my arms, in my hand, in my fingers. How many nerve system and muscles is there?
You felt each and every one of them.
Each and every one. And I think I built some extras also.
Okay.
60 kilometers in that condition. And music, forget it. I was praying to all the God. I was singing Om Namah Shivaya. And I was going through anything I knew that I reach the spot that me and my baby gonna be safe. I remember it was like really late at night, 11 or 12. I reached the first village, Nata. I got down and I was like, now I have to find a place to be safe myself. Like lion didn't eat me, but now I should get to the place. I got out and and there was no time to put the tents anywhere. I found like a little motel time. I went in, a woman came out and I was like, okay, great, there's a woman. And the first question the woman asked me and said, where are you coming from? I said, here. She said, are you crazy? I said, I'm alive. And then she said, sunset, we don't get out. She said there are a lion passing by and lion goes, entire families there. And those guys can kill. I said, thanks for information. I just came from that route and I got it. This is my episode with animals. And I just reached and I was like, and then the story of how I fixed my bike and I still, I fixed the rim and my bike still has the same rim.
Oh my God.
I've done 3 Leh Ladakh with the same rim.
All right.
And I think BMW need to give me an award.
They should have given you a lot of awards till now. I think.
Yeah, they were quite kind to me.
The 40 plus awards that you have, I think most of them should be from
BMW.
Motorrad. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the...
For also putting the bike on the map.
Yeah. I reached Germany and I went to Garmisch. They had a gathering for the BMW GS. I met the entire India team was there. That time Shiva was the head of the India team. They were very kind to me. They were always there to help me. And then everybody were there. I met them in Germany. And it was interesting because my bike was parked. I was meeting the head of the marketing of BMW. And then I got a call from Shiva, who was the head of the BMW India. And he says, I'm standing next to a bike which says Maharashtra. And I only know one crazy person who can reach Germany with that bike. I said, it's me, I'm coming down. Yeah, they had I ride the motorbike with the MH12. Maharashtra.
Right.
Yeah.
Insane.
Do you want to know more scary or you're done with it?
I think I'm going to need like an entire day of chatting with you to take in all the experience.
Yeah.
And you know how when I go and talk about my photographic journey, you know, of course, it's a different topic.
Yeah.
Every time I tell my story, it just comes out in a different way, you know.
Yeah.
And even I realize, oh my God, so many things I have not told anybody, but it's just coming out, you know.
Because it's your feeling, because our stories, more than just the story, is all the emotion that we carry.
Yeah.
I was chatting with another friend, which she's on a boat right now. She's crossing country. And things happens to her. And I was telling her, cherish those moments. Because those are the moments that you're going to have a story about. Our stories are not built, I sit on a motorbike and I rode this route to this route. I stopped there and I had a good food or I stay in that hotel. All the stories comes out when something goes wrong. And that's where the emotion is.
Of course.
When the excitement is and how manage the situation, it will be something else that you do it. The stories are all built up that. And those moments, you don't feel it. Those moments you struggle to stay alive. That's your only mission. But then when you come out of it, you are just tap your shoulder and say, well done, girl, you're still alive.
Of course.
Nothing could kill you.
Of course.
Nothing could eat you up alive.
Yeah. I'm sure your little one also experienced it in her own way.
I think
probably her subconscious.
I think my little one came out with all those experiences because I always said is my very interesting experiences when I was in Africa, when she was growing in my belly. When I was going to pothole, she would kick. And I would tell her, wasn't mommy's fault. Mommy trying to be careful, but that's a pothole I didn't see.
Yeah. I think even very unknowingly, she must be taking a lot of edge off you.
She has it. Yeah.
While she was in you, while she was a part of you.
I think for me as a mother, I believed in that also before having a kid. I believe the journey of our kid start from the day one when the mom carrying a baby. It's not after she or he being born. It's from the day one. Your feeling, your emotions. What mother going through straight away feeding a child. And that was a huge conversation about me carrying on pregnant on a motorbike. Because first of all, I didn't publicize that. And the major reason was I don't use my child and my child's story as a content. My child is way bigger than just being a content. And when when my child was in my belly, it was my moment with my child and Alex and my moment with my child. I didn't want her to put it online like, hey, everybody, hello. I see how the women do it now. It become a whole content of guess the gender of the child, or I am pregnant, the whole world you see and they clap for me. I don't have that. I'm a very traditional way of thinking about. And I believe on energies.
Yeah.
Is me and my child and my husband and the close one around me. I don't want everyone's opinion. I don't want everyone's energy into it.
I think not an influencer. That line comes from there.
No, exactly. Because everybody were like, you know, when I came back, when my baby was born, I put up the picture of my baby and said, my right partner is out.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thought either I would fake my pregnancy or either I fake my world ride.
Oh my God.
Nobody could believe. There were people in Pune told everybody Maral never went on a world ride.
What are you saying?
Yeah. They said she photoshopped the photos. I love that. Do you know why? This is so incredible. People cannot think that I've done it. I loved it.
Exactly.
I loved it. I said, you're right.
Yeah.
Because then suddenly I come back and I hidden my belly throughout because I would stand behind my bike. I would get the photo and video in the angle that you could not see my belly, because when I came back, I couldn't fit anymore. And when I came back, BMW got the welcome for me. And I remember one of my old rider friend came and said, you are the same. The only thing you put on weight. I just looked at him and said, when a woman put on weight in only belly, means probably something's in it.
Yeah.
Not just putting on weight.
Exactly.
Yeah, when I met them, I was 7 months. And then, that was another thing, that it just having the baby. And my baby is happy because happy mothers can have happy babies.
Children, of course.
Just imagine 6 months and a week. What kind of sunrise and sunset I've been watching.
Unreal.
I mean, I would wake up and open my eyes. I come out of my tent and that sunrise. And I would talk to my child every day and said, and I didn't want it to know the gender of my child. Me and Alex wanted to keep it a surprise. Because our life, it just every day become less surprises. I wanted a surprise. I used to call her a blueberry. As a blueberry, today we want to get up. We don't know when we want to go. What food you want to have? Sorry, you only have boiled egg. Nothing else you're going to have. But then all the experience, like the first swim with my baby in Greece, the first animal that we watched in Africa, it was a total different.
Your experiences essentially become her experiences.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
When you see her, she's 6 years old now. She can sit over here in a chair and have a conversation with you. Amazing. And you don't even know that you are chatting with a 6 years old child.
Yeah.
And I think she's an upgrade version of me. And God save the world. Because I think I was enough for the world. And now you have to say plus version.
I know. I'm just wondering what is the middle name she's going to choose? You chose Crazy.
My Crazy is mine. I mean, she just she will choose it herself.
Choose it.
She'll say the said like.
When you said that, people thought that you were faking the world trip and all, I think that I think comes from everybody wanting to put a very, interesting social media life out there. Yeah. Nobody can comprehend what you've done. Nobody even start thinking about what you've done. At best, they can probably fly business class to maybe in front of an Eiffel Tower and post a selfie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or shop in New York. I think that's the extent of the adventure that they can have.
Absolutely. I faced two sort of feedback or two sort of comments or two sort of people. One were the one who appreciated and they said they always wanted to do that and didn't have time, didn't have many reasons. But seeing me doing it, they will give them courage to be making sure they can do it too. Then I faced another people that were trying to bring me down. They said, this girl, what? Okay, so what? You sat on a bike and went. And then they said, how irresponsible. She was pregnant and riding. And they would say, like, yeah, she's faking it. And then they would say, like, yeah, she went, okay. And I'm like, and I'm fine with all of it. Because my experience, and I know what World Ride gave it to me, I left as a Maral and I came back as a different Maral. And that's what I wanted. Everybody were telling me, when I left, social media wasn't what it is today, or I wasn't into it because my social media by then was managed by my brand team for clothing. But I was very sure that I'm very selfish about my experiences. I wanted to live a life. I finished my career and I was giving it away for something huge. And that was my moment sitting over there, watching a sunrise, not be worried about the angle of my camera.
Yeah.
Or sitting in my tent, writing my note, not make sure my GoPro is in the right angle. And that was me time. And I was breaking many things inside, coming out of that, the tight shell that I have. And I wanted to do it with the full force, the way I wanted to be, more than keep showcasing it to the world.
Right.
Keep telling the world, like, hey guys, see what I'm doing. I see how great I am right now. And that wasn't part of my...
No, the extent to which people are going out of their way just to live a life for social media, that is just on another level. That's a topic I don't even want to, include in this right now. So when you said that you were taking your notes and all, were you documenting your days, what happened in the day, or what were you writing?
Because I was writing for the big bike, the Fast Bike India.
Okay, like that.
They were capturing it.
Okay, all right.
But by then, I didn't know I want to write the book.
All right.
By then, I love writing. I told you I'm old school. I like writing pen, paper, and do this. And it's another thing very interesting. You will see it on my book is that come to the topic of, I feel that we make our life happen. I have a book, a notebook, when I started from India. The first page, I wrote about, okay, this is the first day, first moment, I left everything, I'm leaving. The second page, for some unknown reason, was bike breakdown. I was on a road in the 37 degree, 40 degrees, and I was just drawing a tree. And the third page, I draw a mother with a child. In that moment, I never ever thought of that I want to get married. I never been a married type. Everybody saw my photo with my husband on a horse, and I announced that I got married. Everybody messaged me and said, which magazine are you shooting for? I said, no, I got married. They're like, to whom? Because they thought that guy is a model and I'm just shooting for a magazine. I said, no, I'm shooting for my own magazine.
Okay.
That's my own life.
All the travel and sitting on the motorcycle has made her go crazy.
She's just like leveling up.
Correct.
But then in that book, I was drawing, and then a couple of more. And then when I came back after 2 years, when I look at the book and said, I actually drawn each and every step of my life.
Wonderful.
Because the tree means the life, the tree of life. The second step was I came back with a baby. And that's the thing that I was making note, drawing the things, and maybe I was just drawing my life.
Unreal.
And all those notes came and it became a very strong part of my book.
Wow, wonderful.
Yeah.
When you said a different Maral went and a different Maral came back, can you put a couple of things out there which are very striking, like this is what happened?
All of us in life, that's my belief. Before I go, I used to be 4 Marals. Maral, the corporate girl, Maral the biker, Maral the painter, Maral the designer, and all these Marals had a different favorites also. Maral could be different with the people who she liked, and Maral the one that she didn't like. And when Maral didn't like, it was just another. And very egoistic, and my temper could be triggered very quickly. And the maturity was different. Priorities in life was different. And the experience make a huge difference. And then give you the maturity, which you have to break through it. And that never ever happened in your comfort zone. Because I'm driven with my mind, and I'm a logical person, and the brain and the heart work, and usually 30-70. Everybody are like, I wish to just increase this one little higher, but it's just not. My brain is there, and I need logic to understanding and breaking out.
I would think the other way around. Like, sorry to cut your train of thought, but I would think that the things you do and the way you just take off, it just sounds like it's a lot of heart space.
No, but the first brain need to approve.
Okay.
Why I say 70% brain? When my mind and the brain said, go ahead, then it's 200% hearts. But then I need that approval. If that approval doesn't come, it's very difficult to take it purely on heart.
Got it.
And when I was there, when I corporate, every day go to work, come back, and I like money, I like power, I like everything. And that part of my life was perfect. And my attention was finishing the school, getting the money, being somebody, doing this, getting invited to the most parties in India, which is famous, being powerful, with whatever meaning does. Because I think now I'm more powerful than 10 years ago. But that time, very common topic that we dealing with every day in the big city. The day that I decided to go, I start seeing reality of life. I start seeing life in simplicity, which didn't exist in my life before. I start understanding how following a path, making it simple, noting it down, it's actually refreshing and a solution to everything. And I start taking problems and looking at a different angle. Then you're in a big city, you get a puncture is a problem. Your bike or car doesn't start, we call it a problem. Something happened at work, we call it a problem. My ride, the only problem was if I die. That was the only problem. Because anything else would happen, I would force to find a solution for.
Mm-hmm.
I study management. But the real management wasn't when I was studying in a university and getting my PhD, or when I was in the office doing management by the book. And my real management was managing my life on a world ride. When I came back from a ride, after COVID, somebody asked me to give the CV. It was very interesting because my CV wasn't any longer about 12 years of corporate experience or my PhD. My example was I managed the whole world, the problem that you cannot imagine.
Yeah.
If I come down, now put me in the company, do you think a crisis and managing people is going to be difficult?
I know, exactly.
It is not. And that maturity came with it. And relationship. I was a person who was thinking, I don't need love in my life. I was thinking love going to stop me from what I want.
But what kind of love? Because love can be lots of types of love.
You know, the understanding of you come to like loving yourself.
Right.
I always had that one because I am quite self-centered. I don't call myself selfish. I call myself self-centered because my being is important for me. Okay? It's important how I feel, it's important what I want, important. And that part I didn't have a problem with. And I was quite good with confidence or being And I was fine with it. But the love was for me, deep down, I'm extremely emotional, which I try to put the guard down to take care of myself. And I always used to give a long lecture about what is emotion. I don't feel anything. I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't care. And I lied to myself for such a long time that I thought that's the reality of my life. I give long lectures about I don't need to get married. I don't need love in my life. I drive my life myself. I'm strong enough, powerful enough, rich enough. I don't need a man in my life. Independent enough. And then I was giving this all out, but I was fooling myself because I never ever felt that I found someone who is the guy I want. And because I couldn't find it anymore, I started wearing that mask. I don't need it. The reality was I didn't find it. Till the time I met Alex, I had beautiful humans in my life. I don't want to disregard or disrespect them. All of them played an important role in my life. They made me who I am because all experiences make you to another level. But it never was about that's a person I want to settle for the rest of my life. But when Alex comes, very simple, because being with a woman like me, I don't want to label myself as strong and no, but definitely I am a minority in the society You don't come across a woman suddenly wake up in the morning and say, honey, I'm leaving, going around the world.
Right.
I come to the minority in the society and the guy who can't digest this.
Yeah.
And I was dating Alex, and he knew I'm going to leave. And then he was like, yeah, that's your life. That's your dream. The only thing I didn't know is this guy going to follow me.
Oh, all right.
I didn't know that. And he followed me to 15 countries. He flew every month and met me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to bow down to someone, the guy need to earn that respect from me. And he has it all.
Wow.
And he never ever asked me to stop. He never ever asked me like, you're crazy, what you're doing. He never asked me. He was just like, you're living a life.
Mm-hmm.
And you coming back to me after your ride is done. This is a dream life.
Of course.
And you're seeing the world.
Yeah.
And the trust this guy gives me.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important for me. You trust me, you have me 100%.
Yeah.
You don't trust me, 0.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hate to not be trusted.
Mm.
He trusts me 100%.
Yeah, that's also
Everywhere.
a validation in a way.
Absolutely. And he followed me. He came everywhere. And then I started experiencing different kind of love. He would message me and said, where is my girl? Are you doing all right? And I was like, wow, it feels good. When was the last time? Because before that, my attitude was like, I don't care who you are to ask me where I am. All this, you see social media now.
You sound like me. What is your date of birth?
I'm November born.
All right.
I'm a Scorpio.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, but okay, you need to then, we have another episode we talk about this.
Yeah.
But that's another place in life. But when I put my guard down, then I look at it very simple. All of us love to be loved. Okay. But when we get hurt from that side, the easiest thing to block it.
Block it off, yeah. Exactly.
Because when you block it off, one part of your brain want to protect you.
Exactly.
And that part of the brain will tell you, dangerous, red flag.
Exactly.
Don't get there.
This is not for me because you're too vulnerable inside.
Absolutely.
It comes out of oversensitivity.
Absolutely.
Not the other way around.
And then once you let it go, the experience comes to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Then you block that bridge a little higher, that wall a little higher. And then again, you let it go. Again, the next person come and you get hurt. That wall goes higher. By the 5th, 10, 15 experience, there is a huge wall of China in front of you. And nobody can get in.
Totally.
For me, it was the same experience. And when Alex came in, Alex found a little thing. It was like, hello?
People.
Exactly. Hello? And then, but he's too smart. Good looking helps. And very confident.
Nice.
The confidence that guy had, I was like, okay, my being, what I'm doing, not going to shake this guy. And I love that. That was how I start trusting love again. And that's how I start loving love again. Then he would come, I would count my days for him to come and meet me. And then I continued the ride. And any country would finish, he was like, you're one country closer to me. And then I would go. And I remember when I was in Europe, when I got pregnant, that was a decision of Alex and me. It wasn't solo me.
All right.
And then we had this conversation and said, okay, either I go or either I stop. He said, your body, your mind, can you take it? I said, I can. He said, I trust you. If you can take it, continue. But then you have to come back home with my child. He said, I hate sad story. Bichara guy, the wife and child died on a wall ride. He said, I hate all this story. Come back alive.
I know.
And then I took it forward. Every time he was the one who booked all my sonography spot. He would, because I never wore a watch. I didn't know which day it is. Exactly. I lost the weekend. I wanted to live that life. My day was sunrise to sunset. He would have a track of it. He would tell me, next week your sonography is due, where you reach. He would find a closer spot, like a city. He would say, okay, you reach there in 4 days. One day you stop. I'll book you a hotel closer to that location. Go to the sonography, and I would be with him on a video call.
Wonderful.
And then I would do that. And sonography would be done all over the world. And then I come back. And that's the reason what I built for him can't be shaken. Like been 9 years I've been with him, 7 years of marriage. I look at him exactly the way that I look at him in the first day, and he's not being 9 years. Nothing in this world, no male in this world could get my attention.
Amazing.
And that's the trusting I had for this
I guess
guy.
when it's meant to be, that's how it is.
I mean, look at this story.
Yeah.
Everybody, when they get divorced or they go through breakup, they leave on a motorbike to find their peace. I was happy, single woman.
I know. And no midlife crisis also.
No midlife crisis. I had it all.
Yeah.
I just left, and then this, and then I have this story. The name of my ride was Right to Be One. I came back home to the cake Alex got for me. Right to Be One. He crossed it and said 3. Right
nice.
to be 3.
Oh, nice. He is really witty. Things on his feet.
He is very witty.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you talk about such a big ride and so much of travel, and I'm sure there must be so much of paperwork. What is the first point of starting to plan such a thing?
Okay, this is very important because when you sitting this spot, overlooking at the world, everything looks so difficult.
So difficult. Where do you start? Where do you go? What's the course?
Unreachable.
Yeah.
Like it's just very difficult to even think how to go, where to go. And when I started, which was 2017, the thing was way worse than now. Now you see many people go, and the information you find are many people who do the blog and they do. That time wasn't even that clear. We come back to the statement I made. Make it simple, make it easy, note it down. How I started was, initially I wanted to do India to London. Then I thought, I'm leaving everything, you need to be bigger. I said I do 3 continents, 4 continents, 5 continents, 7 continents. Was clear. Then
all or nothing.
Exactly, all or nothing. Then I put points, which I said, what all are my big no? I don't have a good tolerance about cold. I put -4, which I didn't mistake. -4 is freezing cold.
Freezing cold, yeah.
I had to put 10, but I said -4, I can go colder than that. Because one is very important for you in your journey is the timing in the world, which direction you're going. Because, for example, if you wanted to aim Alaska, is a very tiny window you can get there. If you want to time Antarctica, is a tiny window. If you want to go through South America, Ecuador, in the high passes, tiny window to get. I put weather as the first thing. And then I'm like, okay, the timing that I want to start, which is 15th of March, the direction that I can get out is towards right side of the world map. I have I can picturize the whole world map. And the only way that time get out of India was Myanmar.
All right.
Which you guys don't have that anymore. Myanmar is closed. 6 years being closed. The only way that you can get out, go to Nepal, Tibet, China, and head out via China to go to Kyrgyzstan and that side up. And I had Myanmar open. My route was Myanmar. And then my first leg was India to Australia.
All right.
That was clear. Then, depends on the timing of the year, my second leg was North America, Central America, South America, Antarctica. Then the third leg was South America to Egypt. And the fourth leg was Spain all the way back to India.
So between the legs, how did you travel?
When it's the ocean, either you have to ship the bike on the ship.
On the ship, yeah.
Or fly the bike.
All right.
Which everybody thinks shipping is cheaper, which that's correct. But they don't realize shipping needs a longer time. When you're shipping the bike, depends a month to 3 months. And then what all going to happen to your bike on the ship in that time is another thing. And I think time is very expensive.
Time is very expensive. It's the most expensive currency if you ask me.
Exactly. I decided to fly my bike, which you fly the bike and I break it down for you. When you want to go for a world ride, you need your passport. Your bike needs the passport, which the passport of the bike is a carnet. You go to Mumbai, great team. Simran is there, Simran boss is there. And I suggest everyone go directly instead of using agents.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. I prefer to be hands-on because first country that we have to go through was Myanmar. We had one agent, we told him get our visas for Myanmar. We started our world ride. We started to live in India, and she said, "Ho gaya, will be done and all." And then she called me. I said, "Sorry, madam, you can't get Myanmar visa." I said, "Excuse me? That's my first exit. How can I not get it?" And then for Pankaj, he got the Myanmar visa, and I look at it, and I was just like flying to Myanmar, because this is what I tell everyone as I get to details of it. When you want to cross Myanmar, your visa need to say by road only. If you get to the border by getting to Myanmar by flight, you don't get permission to cross. I parked my bike. I flew back to Delhi, fully geared with all my documents, and I went to the Myanmar embassy. Reach over there. The watchman was there, and the watchman was like, "Not now. You cannot do it now. You have to go. You have to come back." And I told him this story and said, "Listen, I'm setting off for a world ride. I already left. I am middle of my way, and they told me there is no visa." People understand your dream. When you share the dream with them, they come out of their way to help you.
Yeah.
The watchman was a Nepali guy sitting over there. They told me, like, "I tell you what to do. Fill up this form, get this one done, call your agency in Myanmar, get this paper right now, do that. You have 1 hour to give me everything. I'll get your visa today." Everything is done, give back all the documents. By 4 o'clock in the evening, visa of me, and Pankaj didn't come, I got the visa for him, was in my hand. That was the time I understood no agent, no middle person, I will not work. It's my dream. Why anybody else should break their head for me? Nobody else gonna come and take this step for you.
Yeah.
Even if you offer them money, they push the limit to some extent, right? Finally, they said, possible nahi hai. Then carnet was done by me. This one, you go, you get your carnet, you talk to them. The rule is 5 times the price of your bike need to be deposited, or there is a fixed money, which is a percentage of the price of your bike you will pay.
What works out better?
I go with pay the money, not give the deposit.
All right.
Now they say, I just heard, because I was talking to one of the guy who is starting a war right now, he said they would ask to pay the fixed amount of money to get the carnet, and the couple of percentage, a small amount, maybe 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs for the deposit as well. I think a team is the best team to talk to. If you have difficulty to give that much, because I found that team very sensible. When I went there and I sat there, then I spoke to her. She gave me all the right advice.
Okay.
If you wanted anything, go, and the office is open to everyone. Go, meet her, use my name, works.
I'm sure of that. I'm
Go
sure of
there, and then, because she's a lovely person, I really love her. Or the entire team. Talk to them, come out with the price of what it is, get your carnet done. Carnet has a different number of the page. You need the yearly carnet, like 1 year carnet, or you need to have 10 pages, 20 pages, 30 pages, or whatever highest they have. You need to ask them.
Okay.
And get it done. I had nights that I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, right?
I was so scared, which I was putting myself to sleep, and I was telling myself, asleep, because my mind was killing me. I said, sleep, maybe tomorrow morning you wake up is different. Everything is different. I had a sleepless night, but then I knew your dream need to be big enough to take your sleep away. You'd be so scary to do it. Because now I can't just sit there and say, my dream is to go to so-and-so location. It's not like that anymore. And it's funny because the dreams also shift. Like before that, the dream was go around the world and come back. And now my dreams are just much simpler, much different. But then it's like, it was very difficult. Very, many people came to me and said, oh, I have a job, I can do it. I have a relationship, I can do it. I understand. I had many of those too.
You'll always have some reason.
They said, I hate the word bucket list. There is no bucket list. Anytime I talk to someone and the person said, oh, that's in my bucket list, I said, please don't call it a bucket list. Because place of the dream is not in the bucket.
Exactly.
Put it in your dream list.
Some of my, even I've never used that word. Be it my profession, be it my travel, it just doesn't come to me
because
naturally.
Bucket list, it just never comes out of the bucket list. If you have a dream list, then you have points.
Yeah.
I'm going to work till so-and-so, then I'm going to have this much money, then I'm going to plan it, then I'm going to go.
Hmm.
But bucket list is something you want to do. You're always just like, I want to do it. No, it's not going to happen.
And bucket list you do only because you want to tick it off.
Yeah.
You'll never even immerse in the whole experience.
Exactly. And when people says, because there were a lot of comment, oh, money. I said, sure. Everything is involved. You need to have money. You need to, but you can have money. You can have time, you can have the situation, you can have all the contact in the world you want, but if you don't take a decision to do it, it's never going to happen.
And if you have a genuine intent, everything will align.
But that is something you have to force into our life. I mean, we sitting now, we're talking about it and this and that, but till the time I didn't want it to actually put everything together to do it, it never could happen.
Exactly.
It wasn't like that the dream comes and the dream goes, and it's not like that. You have to put the force to it.
Yeah, agreed.
And then never ever take no as an answer.
Yeah.
Because there must be a way. And I leave that in my world, right? There must be a way. If like my dream bent, and there must be a way to fix it.
Exactly.
That was my experience all along.
Exactly.
I knew that changing the rim was... they gave me a quotation of 3,500 euros or something similar to that. And then a month's time to reach me in Africa. I didn't have a time. Wait for a month. That means my baby going to grow 1 month more. And I can't be on a bike when I'm crossing 7 or 8 is impossible. And I didn't have 3,500 euros to pay. 3,500 euros for me was to come back, do another 10 countries. Or when I had an engine breakdown too. And all this thing is, and then when the rim was broken, I just sat. I said, calm down. That sadness is okay. And I learned to befriend sadness in our life. Because when we go against things that make us really unhappy, not going to work. For me, it works like, okay, this situation happened. I'm really sad. Let's befriend. Let me digest you. You so-and-so things. I am against when the people say, get rid of sadness. You never can do. Life is full of this episode. But then accept it. I have days that I'm sad. I accept it. And then I'm like, I find a way through it. And that was the same thing. The sadness was there that this broke down. I was scared the dream going to happen. And then I look at myself and I said, this is your 6th continent. You are a rider. Not the best, but you are good. If you go through this pothole, there are many other people go to that pothole in Africa. What they do, there must be a solution. Then I start shifting the way of thinking. I wasn't searching for BMW showroom anymore. I was searching for the places to do jugard and fix the bike.
Get a mechanic,
Then I found, I went there, I had to go 200 kilometers back, exactly in the same town the police stopped me. And that was another story, how I took the bike back. And all is a long story. And then it shows how smart you get to plan things and shift the view and things out of the box. Because taking the bike back, middle of nowhere, all the trucks were telling me $800. $2,200. I couldn't pay that much. I went and I asked how these people go to that city. They said there is a minibus. I said, how much you pay to go there? They said $5 per person. I said, can you get the minibus to come to meet me? The minibus comes and I'm like, the first question, can I remove your seats? The guy looked at me and said, remove my seats? And said, how your seats open? He said, it's a screw. I said, if I want, you can remove all seats? He said, yeah. I said, how many of them are there? He said, 10. I said, remove 10. When you go, 10 to 5, you get $50. When you come back, you get another $50. I'll give you $200. Take me back. The guy was like, I remove all the seats. And there are videos, me being 3-4 months pregnant, pushing the bike, lifting the thing, putting the bike inside of that, fixing, and I have all those ropes, everything that I needed, fix the bike there. And in that moment for me, they're all learning. In that moment, to sitting and crying and calling someone for help, I didn't have time for it, neither the
Exactly.
luxurious of...
No, this is called thinking on the feet. I'm pretty sure that minibus guy is telling the story somewhere in the
Some-
world in
yeah.
some other podcast that is happening right now. So,
Most probably.
Most probably.
We saw that crazy girl remove my seats.
I know.
And then I put the bike and take it
Uh-huh.
back and fix it. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When you ask me this Maral, how different is with the Maral was before, you had to see that Maral, then you compare it with this Maral.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of different way of thinking involved.
Right. I saw that Maral a lot of times, but unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity of meeting
Good
her.
for you, because that Maral wasn't that very pleasant Maral, but
Okay, if you say so.
yeah. But yeah, these are all the changes, everything. And all these moments, when you're sitting in one place, you wanted to plan a ride like this. How can you imagine what's going to happen to you? To plan for it in advance. Then you stop thinking about it. Instead of thinking about when the problems happen, what you want to do, start believing you are powerful enough. Anything happen, you will find a solution.
Right.
Anywhere in this world, there will be human living.
Yeah.
I've been in a stretch of 200 miles, nobody was there. But then 250 miles, there was a human. And when there is a human, they live, they eat, they sleep. Anything happen to their body, they go to doctor.
Same problems as us.
Same problem as humans. And when you start thinking that way, they give you some relief.
Yes.
That I can manage. If they can manage, I can manage.
Yes. A lot of people are just waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect
Never
conditions.
gonna come.
I'll have this much money, then I'll go. I'll have
Never
this
come.
bike, then I'll go. I want to have these tires, then I'll go.
Never come.
It never happens. I think
Never
sometimes
happens.
the best of the experiences and the best of the journeys happen when you just jump into it.
Yeah.
Because you can never be too prepared.
Never. And for such a journey or any journey similar to this in life, because people are not necessarily need to be loving motorbike to do something like that. It can be in any field.
Exactly.
But this is a practice, and everything is with the practice. Is like we keep saying, happiness is a choice, happiness is a choice, all the title and everything. But no, happiness is a practice.
Practice, yeah.
You wake up in
That's
the
amazing.
morning, you practice to be happy, you have your coffee, and then you say, I was just reading somewhere that I posted just today on Instagram, and said, to do everything with excitement. Like, I'm excited to have a coffee, I have excitement to talk to you, then I'm excited to going to meet my friend. Do everything with excitement and practice to be happy. There are days that you're not happy, that's fine. Because you can't just be happy all along.
Yeah, but sometimes, I've realized even if you fake it, you trick your brain into feeling that
Fake
it's
it
happy.
until you make it.
Yeah, and automatically all the other cells align.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And when I was living and everybody were asking me, why the hell I'm leaving my perfect situation? Because from outside, the look was perfect. There was this girl who has the best job. There's these girls riding these bikes and having this car or traveling and doing this. And this become a dream life of many. Okay. But from inside, I knew it wasn't enough. I was going to working 10 to 14 hours, coming back home, and my life was empty. And everybody were thinking, oh, look at this girl. But I knew what I was going through. And that emptiness was something that I was trying to find happiness. When I started moved to India, I thought when I get my MBA, that's happiness. Then I thought when I get PhD, that's happiness. When I find a job, that's happiness. When you get money, that's happiness. When you start traveling, that happiness. But each time that you reach that top of the mountain, it's just very short.
Exactly. That's why they say happiness is not a destination. Happiness is the journey.
Yeah.
And that's why they always call it the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Because they call it the pursuit because you might not end up with it.
Yeah.
So
No, I
pursuing.
want to end up with it.
You want to end up with it. Everybody wants to eventually.
I want to, and I make sure that I end up with it.
Yeah.
And the entire journey that you go, and when you reach there, and then I wanted to know what is our life. Just imagine we are born, go through everything that's been told to us. That's the way of living. Like, do studies, grow up, go to a school, have a good job, make your name, then get married. Program, get married, then have a kids, then have enough money when you get old, saving, and then you get retired, then finish and buy. I don't think so.
That's like key to key.
Yeah. You need a high five for that sense of humor.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, that's key to key. I don't give key to key.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be much more than that, much deeper than that. And you can't believe. I used to read a lot of books, and I used to study a lot, and then I worked, and then I met who is who in this world. Not all, but I can name top 10 powerful men of this world. I did not learn as much as I learned from a simple guy in a remote area managing his life. And the story that he was telling me, the way that they were managing their life. And that experience and those stories, I don't tell anyone. I mean, it's keep repeated that in one trip I've done 110,000 kilometers, but that doesn't kick. When they ask me about my world ride, I said, you know how many thousand stories I have. The stories which moved my mind. I don't need to tell you how many kilometers I have till now, because it's like a hardly I've done 10,000, one patch, 20,000, and I was one of them. One leg, one patch. Yeah. Still, and I look at myself, I'm like, did I really run all that? But my thing is now, those kilometers is one thing. How much we move in our mind, how many inches we move. And that world ride really moved me.
Right.
Those stories really did.
Right.
I was giving you the brief of that carnet. And then how it is.
Correct. Should we roll or are we rolling? Are we rolling? Oh, okay.
Are we rolling?
Okay.
I know we're rolling. You didn't know. I was acting all along.
One more skill set added.
No, I'm an actress. I can take it forward. Yeah.
So I think you were talking about the carnet, and then you were jumping into the insurance, and then I think that's
I said when you the document that you need is your carnet, your passport, insurance, and then you need to have your license, which for Indian licenses works everywhere because it's in English. Right. Some people said they wanted to have an international license. That works also. But as an Iranian who lived in India, I can't get international license from India. Neither I can get from Iran because Iran does not even give the license for motorbike. My Indian license work all over the world. In Thailand, I needed international license. They took me for an eye test. It took me 2 hours, and they gave me an international license for Thailand for 2 years, which was manageable. Tibet, they did the same thing. You don't need to be worried about that. But if you have opportunity to get your international license, then get it. Less headache.
All right.
But you need to know each country that you enter, you need that country's insurance. Your Indian bike insurance does not really gonna help. And there is a huge discussion about your life insurance. And you have to watch the video of me with the life insurance guy who wanted to insure me, not my bike, for the world ride. And because if I die on a world ride, with that time possibility was too high, they had to pay, and what rule, regulation, how you die, how you've been. And imagine in one point, I was discussing my death with the insurance guy, and the guy keeps saying, sorry, madam, sorry, but if you're dead.
Then you bargain with him.
I bargained with him.
If I can run over, please pay me something extra.
He was saying, sorry, madam, if you die, but we need the body come back. I said, Are, kya baat kar di ho? Body, if Taliban get me and kill me, where you want to get the body? Then he was like, madam, but body chahiye.
Proof of death.
I said, you will have a proof. Somebody will tell you I'm dead. But they were like, no, madam, body chahiye. And this conversation is hilarious. Because after that, I was like, okay, imagine in a mountain, somewhere in Bolivia, in the death road, I go down.
Correct.
Who want to find the body?
Exactly.
Imagine I bargaining with the guy for 3 hours. You know what he said in the end? Madam, you die, I pay the body.
What?
I said, now we have a deal. If I die, you will give this money to so-and-so person that much.
Now you're making sense.
Yeah, but for the life insurance, you need to know when you are putting yourself down, you have to mention that you are getting a life insurance for adventure sports.
Okay.
If you don't have that one, your life insurance, anything happen on the bike, there are so many loopholes, insurance will not pay.
Right.
Not that my topic, like anything, God forbid, and happen like that. No, but even breaking your leg, hand, or something, you need to be under category of the adventurous sport, which is a very high risk one.
So it's not like a generic travel insurance.
No,
that
you
can
have
get.
to tell your insurance guys, and you have to have it in a deal. Otherwise, there's a lot of loopholes. And then they cannot cover it when something happens. That you can get it for your safety to have it. And then it comes, any country you enter, you will have insurance for that country. Some countries like Europe and Eastern Europe, there is a green card that they give it to you instead of paying insurance in each country, which get too expensive. 6 years ago, no, it was 8 years ago. 7 years ago to have a deal. I paid 70 euros and I had it covered for most of the country. These are the things you need to know.
Okay.
Because if you don't know, then you will get into it and then you are halfway each border, you're paying 100, and you're like, these are the things you need to know in advance, which you can Google search it and say, what is the rule of insurance? Something will come up, or reach out to someone who done it before to give you the tips. Africa is the same. And for Africa, you need to know there's some sort of injection. You need to have it.
Yellow fever?
Yellow fever and one or two more. You need to have it. Otherwise, some countries will not allow you in. And in Africa, you need to know what to do with malaria. Because people die more with malaria than the bike accident. And then in South America, you need to know other stuff. And in Mexico, if you don't hold the insurance, it's as equal as the crime. And then you have to go online and do, these are the things along the way you find. But your right cannot be a stop because you don't have this information.
Okay.
I didn't have any of this information. I just learned it along the way. In India, these are the things that you need to start. There are countries, especially in this side of the world, which you need agencies. Crossing Myanmar, you need agencies. Thailand put the rule as well. Crossing Thailand, you need. Crossing China, you need. And that those agencies are the people who will be with you to cross their countries.
Yeah, they have a convoy that follows you is what I've heard.
Yeah, and then you have to pay. That's the reason like Myanmar for me was very quick because it was too expensive. And either you can join, Tibet is the same, to join the group, wait for the group to come, you become 4 or 5, share the price to go with them. Or if you are in a timeline, then you prefer to go and pay the whole amount of money to them. And that's it. This is the only thing that you need to know. And everybody want to know about visas. What I've done is I break it down to the countries which give longer visas. Like for example, US gave 10 years multiple. As an Indian, you can go, you can apply, you can have all your documents. I'm an expert on visas now. Any visas anywhere in the world. And you will get the longer visa, which is US. And when you write your cover letter, you will explain you want to go on a motorbike, travel the world. You already be in so-and-so countries. You can check your page. And social media actually helps. You are doing this. You can check. You would like to have a visa for the country. And they like it too because you will be showcasing your their country to the world.
Right.
I remember when I applied for Egypt, the ambassador of Egypt called me.
Oh.
Can we meet for a coffee?
Oh, how nice.
And then he was saying, I didn't have time, but then he was saying like, we would like to see how can you share all the photos with us on social media, because they wanted to talk about safety in Egypt and, encourage more people to travel there. These are all, and you're a photographer. If I was a photographer and as tall as you, I would be in the moon right now. You have all the option because with your, I'm encouraging you for the world ride. Please do it after Kaza.
I will.
Don't do it before Kaza.
Kaza is when I'm going to plan it with you.
Yes, we sit and we just mark it on a world map. And then the longer visa you get, when you cross 3-4 countries, you're already a world traveler. Any country you go, then you do it. The only thing people don't tell you, Google doesn't tell you, I'm telling you, never ever apply one country before for the next country. All the neighboring countries in the world have an issue with each other. All of them. Chile has a problem with Bolivia.
Big time. I've seen firsthand.
Oh yeah, you did.
Firsthand.
Right now.
Yeah.
Mexico with Guatemala. Guatemala with Honduras. Honduras with everyone telling the another country gonna kill you. Each of them. If you have a 10 years multiple visa or any US visa which is valid more than 6 months, you don't need visa till Peru. All the middle, you've just been there.
Yes,
you know it.
yes.
You don't have.
I went everywhere with the US visa.
US, exactly.
The only thing was Bolivia was visa on arrival.
Yeah.
So I was carrying my documentation and I did that on the
because
airport.
I was crossing on the road.
Yeah.
they send me 100 times Bolivia, Peru, Bolivia, Peru, Bolivia, Peru, because the Xerox machine was in Peru.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's 2 kilometers in between. I have no idea how many times I did this border going to Bolivia, coming back to Peru.
So anybody asks you, have you been to Peru? A few times, a few dozen
Many
times.
times.
Many times.
Yeah, this is about on the road.
Right.
But each and everything you need for the next country, the possibility of you find it on a border is really high. Like if they tell you need some injection for your things, you will find the place that you go and you get the injection done, or you go back to the previous city, get the injection done. My issue for Africa, which I mark it out here, was as a pregnant woman, I couldn't have injection.
Oh yeah, correct.
Yeah, but the life is very interesting. I just love these moments. I was in Caribbean long before I go for a world ride. And because I was in Caribbean, they told me you have to do Indian embassy in Caribbean told me that I need to have an injection to go back to India, because there is a yellow fever, which as soon as I land from Caribbean, they will check if I have it or not. I went to the hospital, empty hospital, very good. And I said, what all vaccine you have? The guy said, this. I said, if I have these 4 or 5 vaccine, I will cover the world. He said, yeah, for another 10 years. Majority of the vaccine, you don't need to repeat. I said, give it. I got it.
Like a cocktail. Just chug it.
I got all the vaccine, not knowing 5 years later, I'm going to do a world ride. I'm going to be pregnant. I'm going to be in Africa, and I'm going to reach the spot that I need that vaccine.
My God. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's how things work out.
Yeah, that's the reason I said I happen to life.
Yeah,
Life doesn't happen to me.
Yeah. Now I believe you.
Yeah.
After all these stories.
Yeah.
And
this is what you need to start the world ride.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything. And I know from this point, you're going to look at it, it looks very difficult, but it's a very simple formula. I know you heard it's very difficult to cross the borders in some places. I don't disagree. But I say, if I've done it, anyone else can do it.
Right.
I don't have like that magical touch, or you go there, you will figure it out.
Because, I honestly, I tried it a couple of times. But then,
Which border? Which direction?
So my plan, in fact, when I got the Tiger, my plan was I'll buy this bike and I'll do from here to London and back was the plan. And and then the lockdown hit.
Okay.
So
yeah, that one I supposed to do Alaska to Ushuaia with Alex and Nafas. And which lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. And then later on, I was in the lockdown. I thought maybe once the lockdown is lifted, I can plan it.
Yeah.
I can do my research right now. And there was no website, there was no agency, there was no authority.
And you didn't know me.
I didn't know you.
Oh
exactly.
My God.
Yeah. But now I do. A lot has changed.
You do, yes.
Yeah.
Now one message, your answer is there.
Absolutely. I'm going to drop your name everywhere I go. Maybe make a t-shirt with your face on it.
And be careful, sometimes you might get beaten up. The possibility of my name works everywhere is less than you get beaten up.
Yeah. Probably in Botswana, where they see your picture and say, no, she...
With that police.
She paid the $50, but she asked for a lot of things in return.
I didn't pay.
You didn't pay.
He's going to take it from you. That girl, she has to pay $50.
I know.
Yeah.
No, but jokes apart. I was just misled in every direction, and every side spoke of something different. This side spoke of something different. Yeah. And I'm like, man, this is an ordeal, because the last thing I want is to spend so much of money
and get
stuck and get stuck somewhere,
I found that from amongst world travelers. I don't know if in general or here, because I had a conversation or was part of some conversation in different panels, which the people who cross countries were portraying it like, oh man, you don't know how difficult it was. I'm not saying it was easy, was absolutely difficult, but I don't portray that way, because when you say difficult, it means you want to make yourself such an important person who done it. But I actually do it the other way. I said, the way I look like, the way I am, the way that I do, if I done it, anyone else can do it.
Right.
Because if I can reach at the border as a girl who has zero technical knowledge about the bike, I can fix a puncture with the long nails. Okay, that is possible. And then any other thing, then anyone else can do it also. If I can figure it out, and I speak English, Hindi, Farsi. Not that I speak all the different languages. If I could use my sign language to get it through, then you can do it too.
Right.
The base that you need to know is you get your carnet,
Mm.
you know which route that you want to go and how it is and take it forward. Googling most of the time will confuse you. There
That's
is
what
one
happened.
information goes in 5 different directions.
That's what happened.
The only thing is when you're getting information from me, because mine was like, I finished 6 years ago, you need to maybe update the information. Is that the rule of that border still is the same or not? Then you easily get connected to the group, which is only World Traveler, couple of websites that I can send it across. And then you just ask your question. The people who are right now there, because I got, a certain point of time, there are certain number of World Traveler on the road. Then we get in touch with them. Like now, majority, not people who we are in touch, or they find a World Traveler in India, they come to Delhi, they stay with me. If they need any question, they call me. Or I do the same thing when I'm going to their countries.
Got it.
And you always know somebody is in some direction. Like now I know there is one in Indonesia, another one cross Cambodia, another one doing that. You always get in touch and say, dude, you crossed it last week. What is it? And you get it through. But work on your mind first that you're going to do it. You're going to put everything down, pin it down.
Correct.
And another thing is when you go to London, why you want to come back to India? Why don't you park your bike there? Come back to India, work for 6 months, do whatever you want, take your bike.
Continue further.
Why not?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Oh, I'm full of good ideas.
I know, absolutely. And fortunately, that's not the only bike I have. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Or the concept of we need to leave our bike somewhere, it can be left anywhere in this world. You will meet people, you will engage with people, you will find a company like you're on a Tiger, you go to Triumph and say, listen, I need to park my bike somewhere, or there will be Airbnb, or there will be another person who is a traveler, or you will find a way. You park your bike, come back, or anything happen anywhere on the road, behind the border, you get stuck. What's the matter? You go back to the last city, find the place, park your bike, get the ticket. Cheapest ticket, back to India, solve your problem, go back.
You make it sound so easy, huh?
It is. If you don't see him tomorrow, he's gone for a world ride.
I've gone for a world ride already. But you know that this could very well be my last episode of podcast, right? Because I don't think anybody I call after this is just going to match up this excitement and these kind of stories.
No, I don't think so. That's the reason. Because you will be on a world ride.
World ride, yeah, possible.
That is the reason.
Doing my own podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, on the run. Yeah. So, what was I going to ask you? Apna sab theek chal raha hai? Yeah.
Did I cover everything that you wanted?
Yeah, everything, almost everything. Of course, I can keep going on and on. But somewhere I'm going to have to plug it. Otherwise, we are going to be here through the night.
Yeah.
Aur kya rahe gaya? Anything else you'd want to know?
Anyone has a question? I can give life advice, love advice, road advice, kid advice.
I'm starting different channels for that. So you're going to be my first guest. I'm going to open with you.
You know, when somebody comes to me and says, oh my God, I heard about it. I'm like, which side? And they're just calling me. And then they say they want to, because I give a lot of talk. I do the, like, I don't know, I did like 3 times TEDx. And then there are companies pay me to go and give them talk. I said, I'm a wrong person. You're calling me for your people. I'm the one who left corporate. You're calling me to pay me money to tell them to leave.
Good problem to have.
Anytime they call me, I'm like, which angle you want me to cover? You want me to be Maral the mother? Or you want me to be the rider? Or you want to give you Gayan about love?
Yeah. So many people so many experts into one.
What do you want to know?
Just name it, But let's talk about how you packed.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Because I don't know. Are you a light packer? Are you a detailed heavy packer?
My dream is to see myself at the airport, like these chic ladies, they come with a little bag and they have one check-in bag and they walk like that. I always have things hanging on me. Okay. One bag here, one bag there, there's 2 bag checking, and I'm just like, I've never been a light packer, never. And then when I was packing for the world ride, in my head, I was packing for 4 seasons. Not my head, in reality. Because I was crossing all the train, all the thing. And then the concept of what you need is very misguided. I carried the whole range of tools.
Yeah, which was my next question too.
Yeah.
Did you
And
learn?
the answer is very simple. Carry the tools that you know how to use it.
I get you. I feel you.
I had the very good looking tools, which I was a content maker. I could really make a nice video. But I mean, at max, I could use them as a self-defense to throw it at someone. And then I came to the conclusion.
And not bother, because even if you get it back, you don't know
what
how to
to do
use
with
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I started learning, for me, the basic knowledge that I had really helped to fix my bike was how to adjust my chain, which is very important. How to change my brake pads.
But chain?
Yeah, mine is chain.
You're on the shaft drive,
No,
right?
chain.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
GS 800 2013.
Oh, all right, okay.
Okay, this is another thing that I give you advice. Stay away from technology and electronics. Because when your bike goes down, when it's a lot of electronics involved, you need these guys to come and fix it.
I know.
That's why my bullet guys are having a major fun. Or my bike, I was sure that I want to get the one which does not have a lot of electronics involved. Mine was chain. I could adjust it, I could fix it. And in 5,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers, it need to be changed. And in the distance of 10,000 kilometers or 5,000 kilometers, you definitely have a showroom to go to and do the servicing. Changing the brake pads. And changing the tire if you want to do puncture. The difficult part is when it's the picture one. And I got that puncture in Manali, but I was with Vijay Parmar, which I call him Guru of Himalayas, and I was with Adib.
All right.
And
Abid also was talking extremely high of this gentleman.
Amazing. I love that guy. He's a Guruji.
Okay.
And I love his attitude. I love his being. I love he's the one who had raided Himalayas.
All right.
You have to see that guy.
All right.
I'm going to message him after this. I want to tell him if he comes to Kaza. I love the Guruji.
Done.
I was riding and as soon as we left the rider in Manali, my back wheel, he came and he gave me and said, and everybody make fun of me. Oi, world traveler, you have a puncture. A world traveler didn't see it only. But then I have the GS trophy guy and the Guruji of Himalaya to change the wheel for me. The back wheel is hard to remove. You learn that one, you know how to change the brake pad. And then mine was chain and puncture, and that's it.
All right.
Because anything worse than this happen, you need a mechanic. I never could be expert of checking my engine. You start developing that feeling and knowledge about your bike if sounds different, if something dripping or something happen, you will find help.
Yeah.
But the basic, or always do the clutch, double clutch. If anything happen, you have another one. These are the things that you can fix on your bike, which is manageable by you, and carry a tools which can fit that. Otherwise, don't carry extra stuff. I carry that GPS because it looks good. Even once I didn't use it. I still have it.
All right.
On my motorbike because it looks like a heavy damn bike.
I know. Serious stuff.
Mobile, maps, me. It works in Antarctica also.
Oh my God, amazing.
And then the card that you used to use, the countries like Iran, you cannot use card. It's just like Iran is a country that is connected to the whole world. You have a couple of more countries like that, then you carry your money, and then the way you carry your money is different. Different places you put. You never ever put your money in one place. Anything happened to the bike or anything, you need to have some little different places. But then the card that I used, that time I used ICICI, and now HDFC is the same. Work everywhere in the world.
All right. The Forex card.
I use the Forex card. You get money anywhere in the world you want, and you have someone here in your office or at home, you tell them,
Tops it up.
That's simple. And I use that in the most remote corner of this world, and it worked. And then it comes to what you pack. I pack a lot of stuff, and there was something very sentimental for me. I said, I need this. They will wash away, because then you understand what you need is not those clothes, is the space. Heavy bike is difficult. Then there is an art of packing, how to pack your stuff. I came to the conclusion, only one gear that I have, and my gear, I used Rotec, I loved it. But then you have Climb or Clean, with both pronunciation people use it, and many more good gears came. You can use it, and you get a 4-season one. 4 season, you don't need to carry extra. You always have it. The boot that you have, but then you carry something comfortable. Anything goes wrong with the boot, you have a second option. But your second option needs to be something that you use it off the gears.
Okay.
Because you don't have a space to carry anything more. For me, I need to have a leggings and a t-shirt. 2 leggings, 2 t-shirt, and then you pack layers for cold. You don't carry one huge one in your bag. You have 3 thermals, which you can wear it when is 20 degrees, 10 degrees, 0 degrees, everything serves the purpose. Carry in layers and keep the space. You know, and the small thing that you never think of, it becomes the most important thing, like lip balm. You need to have it because if your lip get dry, start cracking, start hurting under the helmet, and middle of nowhere you can find them. You don't need to have a lip balm. You need to have a Vaseline, which works everywhere.
I was dying for it in Chile and Bolivia, and oh my god, like -7 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was hydrating also, but my lips were in pieces.
And then you don't think so because when you pack, you said I pack everything, but this is like I use Vaseline head to toe for my face to not get dry, for hands, for legs, for everything. And then another thing that you really need, nail cutter. Because if the tiny little bit close to your nail start bothering you inside of your gloves, you can understand that how much pain it can give it to you.
Exactly. Such a small thing, but
and middle of nowhere you can find it.
Right.
A small little scissor or the pack of, these are the things that you never think of because nobody gonna come and tell you. But these are the ones that you have. And for medicine, you have basic medicine for your headache, for your body pain, for your stomach issues, for your cold, and that's it.
That's about it.
Because this is the only thing that you know. If you have cold, this is the one you have. Anything major, or if you get a tooth pain, you have then usually the painkillers work for all. More than that, you don't need to carry. Anything more serious, you have to go to doctor, which find them everywhere. And your packing is different because what you need and what you want and how. But I came to the car, I started throwing stuff out because I needed a space more than anything else. And the art of packing is you pack your panniers and boxes, which we know. One pannier of mine was, because I slept on the road, right? Tent, everything to do with for cooking. And another panniers was all extra thing that I have for tools and for the stuff that I have. And I have one in the top box, which was, I say top box and I laugh because on the last ride to Ladakh, I lost the top box without even figuring it out.
What? Just flew off your bike?
I'm glad that Arif didn't tell you this story because Arif tells everyone this story that the poor traveler lost the top box for 100 kilometers and she didn't know. Yeah, but the top box is supposed to be.
No, a lot of people are going to know. There's no censor. There's no censor in this podcast.
If you don't lose your top box, the most important thing needs to be on your top box.
Okay.
Like your passport, like your money, like your electronics, and like everything. And the little bomb bag or the bag that you carry behind need to be your clothes. And inside of the clothes, you need to have different bags, which you pack it per day. For 3 days, you need to have a stuff.
Right. For easy access?
You only remove one bag, get it out of your luggage. You use that one. And I had, like during the world ride, but I usually sleep in a tent. But then I call it 2 luxury days, which was I was going to the hostel to be able to wash my clothes. But then I washed my clothes on the river. I went, I shower under the rain. I went to the ocean to swim and because I didn't have shower and wash my clothes. I have videos of me washing on the river, the clothes, but then every 3-4 days you have to wash your clothes. I hanged it on my bike when I was riding to dry it. But then this is the most sufficient way of packing.
Okay.
And everything that you need, you make the list of it. Because I can see this content maker, they have like proper clicking photo of what they need. I never had it. But I'm very efficient when it comes to packing. And the most important thing, carry these ropes and cables. If you have bike breakdown, you have to fix your bike on a car, on a truck, carry your stuff yourself.
All right. Okay.
Have those cables that you wanted to lock it. There's a couple of them are very well known. carry extra bungees.
Mm-hmm.
Anything goes wrong, you need to have bungees. And then
Mhm.
they come to the topic of soft bag or hard bag. I travel, it depends on the train and the route that you're going. You have to choose your bags, because if the hard bag, you have a fall and it falls and then deform,
Mm-hmm.
rain goes inside, everything goes inside, it's very hard. But if the soft bag, anything happen, you can wrap it up.
Correct.
Only I changed it to the hard bag, hard panniers in Africa when I was pregnant, because I couldn't carry the bags out each time to my tent.
Mm-hmm.
Pannier give you the safety of locking.
Right.
But these are all a small little thing. You will figure it out on the way.
Whatever is convenient for you, whatever works for you.
Whatever, or even half the way you think you don't want to have a hard pannier, go to the shop, buy a soft one, courier you buy a big one back. You know, when you start thinking there is solution to everything,
Correct.
that will not stop you.
Correct. What about food? Did you carry a lot of food, energy bars?
Initially, I've done a lot of food, but then I was just like, why am I taking a space for food?
Mm-hmm.
You always carry enough water, dry fruits, dates, the one that give you energy or the energy bars. If anything happen, you have to survive up to 3 days. Because after 3 days, you will find help somewhere.
Right.
But then I carry always dry fruits. It comes become I'm Iranian.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot live without dry fruits, and they give a lot of energy to you. And dates, and then you don't need to carry it from the 0 point.
Okay.
You carry for 3 days, 4 days. You go, next stop, top it up. You have to have a space that's always fill up for your water and for you have these plastic bag, you can fill up the water up to 3-4 liter you can carry. Don't carry the firm one. Put that one on with the boxes of fruit that you have. Anytime it's finished, mark your next main city, put it on.
Okay.
But then you shouldn't there have been moments that we were craving for food. Like either the food was too spicy or too oily or we couldn't, but they were craving for food. Then you have to stop till the time you get the food that you want. But otherwise, I'm not foodie. I can eat and drink to survive.
All right.
But if you are very foodie, then you have to find a formula for yourself.
Thing, I ask you specifically about food because, in the middle of your trip, from one, you suddenly became two. So over there.
That was a very different topic because when you are pregnant, especially the first 3 months, you can't eat any food which is not boiled. And that was hard in Africa because I was on a road, middle of nowhere.
You can eat any food which is not boiled?
No. Any food which is raw, you cannot have.
Raw? Okay.
Yeah, you have to have the food which is cooked. Boiled and cooked.
Okay.
Like salad, you cannot have fish, you cannot have any of this, you cannot have. And in Africa was really hard. That's the reason I developed a crazy love for burgers and eggs because I survive on a boiled egg, but then because it was protein was good. Having a husband who's a nutritionist, it really helps.
Okay.
He would flew me the protein. And whatever that I had, because he was saying now you have to have this much of protein, which is your body, for your baby. And then I would calculate I had boiled egg, or I would get burger or something, but it still wasn't enough. I would have protein shake.
Super.
Yeah. He would send it to my hotel for my next destination to have, and then he would come and meet me every month, give it to me. Those are the things you can think of also, because being pregnant is another thing, or being healthy and having this protein, you can carry it with you.
Right.
Yeah. Africa was hard being pregnant. And, usually they said first 3 months is very important to keep the baby. And they tell here women should not even sit in a rickshaw. And I agree with them. I didn't sit in the rickshaw. I follow what they said.
You follow, yeah.
They said, don't sit in the rickshaw. I said, okay, I will not sit in the rickshaw.
Yeah. You're always adhering by the laws and you just do the right thing.
Follow. Nobody said don't sit on a bike.
Nobody said
Cross Africa. Yeah, I follow whatever they said.
I know. Extra points for you over there. And my last question to you, and I think I'll end on that because, I really can keep talking to you forever on these things. Is what next? Everything is done. Like, do you really even, firstly, do you miss being on the bike and doing this thing all over again? Would you do it if you had the chance? And now that everything is done, there's honestly no stone unturned.
Yeah.
What do you plan for next?
There are many stones which is not turned yet.
Okay.
But do I miss to be on the same ride? No. Because I live those moments the fullest. There is not a spot that I said, oh, I wish I was doing it differently. No, I didn't. I live the fullest. I don't dream of doing this dream all over again, but I do dream of doing it with Alex and Nafas.
Oh, nice.
And I keep asking myself also, what can be next? Because I'm made of dreams. My tagline is, I'm made of dreams. If I don't have dream, I don't have any courage to wake up in the morning to do what? And I road map it, plan it to see what I want to do. I definitely want to publish my book, which coffee table book is done. I'm editing it, but it's 650 pages. Huge. I'm going to cut it down to a book. And then I really want to make a documentary.
If you ever need a portrait for that, let me know.
For sure. Yeah. No, I mean, you can do it. We reach there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll shoot one for you in Gaza.
Done. Okay, you are coming to Gaza. There is no cancellation.
No, I'm very serious. Already a couple of things are planned.
You know, I'm the only one who went for all this thing and I don't have any proper photo.
Exactly.
Because I don't even wait for taking a photo.
No, because you're more immersed in the experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what
happened
to
I'm
me.
now game to click photos.
Now you are. Yeah. Correct.
But I want a documentary because I feel my story worth hearing for human in the world. I'm not going to even say the girls or the boys or the thing, because
everyone.
There is an example of nothing is impossible in this world. And I want this story to be heard. And I wanted to keep it as simple, as real to the possibility, which is the documentary I want to make.
Fantastic.
And then definitely, I think the next book going to come up when I do the similar route with Nafas and Alex. If Nafas reaches the age want to ride a bike, then Nafas can ride her bike if she want to ride a bike, because as a mommy, I don't want. But then both of us will ride back the route that I was pregnant with her.
Wonderful.
To go back.
Wonderful.
But definitely journey with Alex and Nafas to do a road trip.
Wonderful.
Which I'm planning one now.
All the best for that. All the luck for that.
Thank you.
And on a parting note, do you want to tell all your audience where to find you on social media? What are your handles and all? Oh, okay, I'll do it. You can...
Find me. You can just tell me, hi, madam, I love you. Bye.
Done.
No, it's I have Maral Yazarloo as my main page, which I try to respond as much as I can. The whole story of the ride from the day before I start the ride is in Right to Be One, which you have to scroll down all the way down. Then you see how I was preparing, and you can get a lot of information there because I mark the route. I make the necessary thing. And I think on YouTube, in some point, I put some videos. This is Biker's Guide to go through the countries. But I don't put anything as in YouTube as of now. And then for the design, with poor design side of me highlighted the least always. And that's the only one who give me money. That's House of Maral Yazarloo.
You're so humble.
Yeah, that's the part that I get money. And it's never there. And usually whenever I have a long talk and I'm like biker traveling this and that, I'm like, oh, excuse me, I'm a designer too.
Designer too, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that your first passion?
First passion? Yeah, it was.
All right.
It was my childhood dream.
Okay.
To design everything because I love painting and I do design clothes and I combine these two.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. On that note, thank you very much.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure.
Likewise. I think for the first time we have run out of memory cards.
Oh, and that's my quality.
That's the quality. Yeah. And I can still go on and on. Don't be surprised if I call you again.
No, that's the reason when people say 650 pages of the book, I said, that's Maral.
I know, exactly.
I can short it anywhere.
Yeah. And I'm sure with all that also, you're barely scratching the surface in a lot of ways. Yeah. But again, I look forward to more of your adventures.
Thank you.
And I hope to join you on a few of those.
Yeah, if you come to Gaza, we take it from there.
It's on.
I plan it for your next ride.
It is on. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.